You're tuned into Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. The Smooth Breakfast is what you're listening to. And it is a Feel Good Friday. Ayokunmi here. It's that time to get you into the world of the papers. Take a look at the headlines making the rounds. And of course, analysis will definitely follow that. This is Freshly Pressed Feel Good Friday edition, final edition of the show this week. Thank you for keeping it tuned from Monday all the way till today. We do not take that for granted at all. It's going to be a great one, as it always is. The stories are lined up. The analysts are in this morning to take a look at the stories and, of course, give their analysis and perspective as well. And we are also looking forward to you sharing your thoughts with us. Yes, we love to hear from you, to get your messages, to get your thoughts in. That's what makes things even spicier, if you know what I mean. So you can do that by sending your thoughts to us on WhatsApp on 0809 444 0981. 0809 4440981. That is the WhatsApp number. You can also join the live stream on YouTube at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Those are the ways that you can be a part of Freshly Pressed this Feel Good Friday morning. All right, like I said, my analysts are in this morning to take a look at the stories. Joseph Obari and, of course, AB Bozimo as well. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good
Good
morning.
morning, Ayo. Good morning, Joseph. Good morning to all of the wonderful listeners out there. Great to be here.
Good
Have a
morning, B.
fantastic Friday.
Good morning, B. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, all listeners. We are welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yes, indeed. Happy Friday. That is what we're looking forward to have a great weekend. Hopefully, with power this time. Nothing should come in between us and that. you know, bearing in mind what
Amen.
happened concerning the national grid. But I mean, it's been said that it was due to ongoing repairs. Let's see how far these or those repairs are going to take us. We'll get to those issues a bit later on. But for now, let's talk security matters. This one is a really important one. And Joseph, let's jump into the punch. And the defense headquarters has confirmed the emergence of a new terrorist group known as Lukarawas in the northwestern part of the country. Now, the director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on military operations on Thursday in Abuja. Now, Buba stated that the new terror group originated in the Republic of Niger after the recent coup, which disrupted military cooperation between Nigeria and Niger. Now, this is definitely not something that we want to hear or even think about or need at this point in time. Bearing in mind all the security issues that we've been grappling with, Boko Haram for over 2 decades, you have bandits, herdsmen, and so on and so forth. Now, another dimension has been brought to our consciousness due to the coup that happened, with President Bassoum being, swept out of office in the Republic of Niger. So we have another issue to deal with, another issue that probably will be bedeviling the country at this point in time, added to the myriad of issues that we have. Now, that on one hand, now, Joseph, I know you're able to talk about that, but also I need you to speak to the level of our, should I say, our border security, our border control, the easy access that these elements have in order to get in and out of the country.
Well, okay. So the first thing I would say is that it's an interesting soundbite to hear that the defense spokesman has said that the military is going to be on top of the matter. They're gathering intelligence and all that. But there are really worrying developments that such a thing could happen at all. And it just tells you, I mean, we've always known that the borders around the north generally are very porous because the people themselves have this attitude that these people are relatives, are our friends, and so on. That so even where you have border patrol team like the immigration, the customs that try to enforce, they can't really achieve much if the people cannot cooperate with them. What is obvious here is that, and I read in another report that these people came pretending to be bringing religious whatever to the people, and the locals bought into it and never shared intelligence with any security unit. So it tells us that our security architecture is disconnected from the heart and mind aspect of our security architecture is disconnected. There's a serious gap that people can come in there. These guys show the people that pretend that they are only interested. How come people will not, with all that has happened in the north, all that's happening, how can the people in these areas not be alert enough to say, oh, this is what we're suspicious movement. We're seeing some people, we don't know who they are claiming to be. Even traditional rulers, nobody informed our security agencies that this was happening until the people settled in and then started manifesting who they really were. So that gap needs to be breached seriously. Apart from the bad border control that we don't really have much that we can achieve, because if you mount a checkpoint at the border post, what about the bush tracks? What about the unmanned areas, that large unmanned areas that people can pass through, and the attitude of the people towards those coming in? They feel they are one and the same people. They don't feel there's any threat until the threats actually are upon them. I think our intelligence gathering is weak, and that is one area our security agencies have to pay attention to gather information, to pick up things quickly. I know that we have DSS represented in almost every local government. How come this escaped them? How didn't they know? How didn't they know? Even if the locals didn't report, didn't they have feelers that something is happening for how many months? And then, of course, it is upon us until the government has to raise the alarm.
Or AB, I need to bring you in on this one.
To me, terrorists by any name should have the same end destination: total termination. They can call themselves Boko Haram, Lukarawas, or even Father Christmas. Once you're a terrorist, the army should not bother about your name tag or your description. You should have the same solitary ending. You should not be able to move. So it's interesting, it's informative, but believe you, between me and you, I could not differentiate before between Boko Haram and this new one. So to me, they are all the same. They're enemies of the state. They should be terminated. End of story. Telling me this long story without telling me how I take care of them is unnecessary news.
Unnecessary news. At this point in time, it's action that actually needs to be taken. But AB, also looking at it from the point of view of, I don't know, I could be wrong. Information not being disseminated properly, not letting everyone know what exactly is going on. I mean, can we look at this as also as the defense team, the army, and so on and so forth? On one hand, doing what it is that they need to do behind this, but just letting people know, okay, this is what's going on right now. We are bringing you up to speed.
I said before now, was there a particular name tag on the terrorists that go and murder Nigerians in their various states? No. Now you are telling me about a new set of people with a new name tag, maybe new uniform or new diet. I don't care. Kill them. End them. I'm not stuttering. I don't want to know what they are called. I want to know that they are gone because they are endangering Nigerian lives. That's all that matters. Keep Nigerians safe. It's information, as I say, but so now I know their name. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to go and fight them for you? Fight them. That's why we have a very, very potentially strong army. Our army is very, very respected anywhere. Show us working.
What I think AB is saying is this. You've discovered this happening. This is the action we have taken. We've discovered that some group is forming around there, and we've moved troops there, and we are dealing with it. That's the kind of news. Yeah.
Telling me that they've got a new. So what? What are we supposed to do with this information?
All right, let's move on to our next story here. Amy, I'm actually coming to you with this one. And we talked about power as we segued into the show this morning, and that's what we're going to, as the federal government has revealed plans to provide Nigerians with at least 20 hours of daily electricity by 2027. Now, however, it has conditioned this target on sufficient investment in Nigeria's oil and gas sector, which it has said is currently far below expectations. That seems like talking from both sides of the mouth, really. The special advisor to the president on energy, Olu Verhegen made this statement at the Energy Week in Cape Town, South Africa, in a release by the State House Director of Information and Publicity, Abiodun Olajujoye, on Thursday. Now, AB, I remember when President Tinubu was campaigning before the elections, he made the speech talking about, promising stable electricity and that if he's unable to do that, and he added a caveat to that, to the fact that if he's not able to do that, that he shouldn't be voted back in come 2027. He added the caveat unless he gives adequate reasons why he couldn't actually deliver. Now we're hearing about this. This is off the back of our 10th or 11th grid collapse in 2024, second in the space of about 2 days. I don't know what it is that they plan to do, but they haven't got off to a very good start in able to deliver 20 hours of electricity by 2027, maybe.
Listen, the headline says FG promises. Again, a promise from the current FG is, frankly, in my humble, sincere, and solitary opinion, a waste of newspaper space. We don't survive on promises. We can only measure what is seen. And then you make a promise and then you put a condition so that you have an excuse tomorrow. It is condition on sufficient investment. Define what that investment is. Define the sources it should come from. Let me ask you, would it be better for Nigeria to invest money in our electricity sector or into vehicles for the people in office? We have money. We just have chosen to use the money in ways that are not helping this nation. One of them, I repeat, is in wasting money on a lot of government functionaries. So you are giving me, we will, we shall, we might, we hope to give us by 2027. Is by 2027, when we get there, we'll see it. Are you going to give me a graduated timeline that this is 2024 ending? By middle of 2025, what is the current amount in place? What do we expect to have done? 25% of it, or 30% of it, or 2% of it? You have to, even in your sound bite of promise, you must give us the steps that you will take. You don't get from downstairs in the building to upstairs without a process, either steps or elevator. You cannot just say, I shall be upstairs. I will climb steps. I will maybe reach a landing. I will pause. I will turn around. I will open a door. You don't just manufacture these numbers. I'm sorry, 20 hours of power that they said for Band A. How far with a cracking national grid? If you don't even talk about how you are going to diversify the grid, how you are going to section it into, we have these famous 6 geopolitical zones. If you don't start by telling me how you are going to make sure that each of the grids in each of the zones is more or less standalone, then you are making a promise that is just waving in the wind and a waste of both saliva and print space. I'm sorry, I'm not going to, because these failures are happening every day. Ayo, in your house, if your generator, because we are all using generators, keep oiling every market day, will you not get a mechanic? Will there not be something you would do to adjust differently? Will you continue buying the food that you normally buy in bulk? You will make changes to make sure that you're not wasting your money on other things. But we seem to just be going about the same thing, then coming up with these promises. I'm sorry, this promise is not worth the paper it was printed on. I will believe it when I see it, and I'm not holding my breath.
Ayo, the sad part of, if I may come here, is that
we're
not even making our oil industry, our sector, that sector that they are premising this whole promise on, any interesting and lucrative to the foreign investors. Because if those who are operating there already are not finding it interesting to operate, and they even are selling off their assets and divesting, what makes you think that somebody else from outside is going to sink his money there when people can perforate your pipeline, steal your crude, do whatever they like with what your investment is, and you can't recover your money? So why would you want to come in and there are other new investment areas that are more attractive around the world, in Africa, even in Africa, new fields are discovered. So what makes I want to come here to come and invest if you're not attractive? And then they cleverly tell you that that's a condition upon which they are going to. And it's so embarrassing that Nigeria, for what we are, will go to the world stage and make this kind of statement to the world. Because it's not, they're doing this thing as if they're talking to Nigerians, but they're actually talking to us made at an international event outside Nigeria in South Africa to the whole world. So I'm sure there are some countries who is really Nigeria, they're still talking about trying to get 20 hours of electricity. Really? Is it Nigeria? Oh, how would people make investment there? That's the kind of message you're sending to the world. And people don't think about this. They don't think what this means. That's what is worrying.
That's what is worrying. Let's take a quick breather. When we come back in, we'll take a story out of the Daily Post, Joseph. It's all about Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, talking about the federal government appreciating the endurance of Nigerians on the side effects of economic reforms. We'll talk about that and a lot more on the other side of Freshly Pressed. Keep it tuned. Nigeria.
Really?
These people just open their mouths and talk. I don't know who they think is going to listen. As you said, on a world stage, you are promising 20 hours. And you're not even giving any concrete steps. And then you're premising it on if people invest.
That's why
should I invest in you?
That's why I said talking from both sides of the mouth.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it
doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. So I'm not going to talk as if listen, I'll be the first beneficiary of 20 hours of energy. I'll pay my bill and I'll be happy. But you have to tell me a roadmap. You just promised 2027. How many jobs did Osibanjo promise? Was it not 3 million when they were in the first APC government? Now we are losing jobs by the dozen. I beg, make I hear word.
And we're back. Welcome. This is Freshly Pressed on Smooth 98.1. If you're just tuning in, you are most welcome to the journey with us on the Smooth Breakfast. This is Smooth 98.1, your love music, love life station on a Feel Good Friday mornings, 49 minutes past 7 a.m. My name is Ayokunmi. Joseph Obari and Bozimo are my analysts this morning, taking a look at the stories and, of course, breaking it all down and giving their analysis as well. We're looking to you to share your thoughts with us also. And you can do that on WhatsApp or on YouTube. On WhatsApp, the number is 0809 444 0981. 0809 444 0981. That's the WhatsApp number to send your messages to. You can also drop your comments on YouTube where we're streaming live at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Let me take one or two messages before they get longer here, and then we get back into the stories. This is from Barrister Dan Okuda, who says, with the incessant grid collapse in the country, Minister Adilabu should throw in the towel. All right. This is Adegboyega Adedeji. It's a bit of a long one, so I'm going to have to just take excerpts of this one. Apologies in advance. He says, Nigeria's problems are far from spiritual. The country's history shows that visionary leaders like Obafemi Awolowo and Alhaji Lateef Jakande made significant impacts through transformative policies and people-oriented programs, particularly in education. Talking about Awolowo, introducing free primary education and healthcare for children in the Western region, and so on and so forth. It says Nigeria's challenges such as corruption, inequality, and inadequate infrastructure demand practical solutions, not spiritual scapegoats. The country needs leaders who will prioritize justice, equity, fairness, and accountability. Cisco Delgado said, this is for you, AB. He says, don't apologize or say sorry because you are saying the facts. So Cisco says, AB, don't feel like you need to apologize for anything. Sir Ken says,
no, I always say so that it will not be the station that said it is me, not the station.
Understood. Sir Ken says, I believe going forward, what should be announced is anytime the national grid gets off. Oh my goodness. This is
the default mode is collapse.
Sunday from Surulere says, on the emergence of a new terror group, I think that the reluctance of locals to share intelligence with security agencies may be due to lack of trust in said agencies. You could report something to the police and end up being accused of being complicit, especially if you're unable to prove how you gather the information in the first place. Let's not even go into what the court case would look like. Nobody wants to be a scapegoat. All right. Ebilade Amber from Badagry says, even if we are in total darkness from now till 2027, President Tinubu will still be elected. And it is because INEC will declare him winner whether he wins or not. And the judiciary will, of course, affirm his victory, win or lose. I'm not sure that's how it works. I think they work with what's in front of them. Let's be mindful. Let's be mindful. Who is this talking to us? Zeman from Bristol says, so much money to be made from kidnapping, so more businesses will open. And at the ease of doing business, we them talk about this. All right, let's get back into the stories, Joseph. So, into the Daily Post. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, said the federal government appreciates the endurance of Nigerians on the side effects of economic reforms, which he said have started yielding results. Now, Edun stated this on Thursday in Abuja during an interactive session with the Senate Committee on Finance. Now, he said the teething problems from reforms are over for Nigerians, as positive indicators for better days are already emerging. Joseph, I don't know if you've seen these positive indicators yet, but please, let's get your thoughts.
Mr. Minister, I strongly disagree with your statement that the teething problems are over. We are only beginning to feel the heat of it. And there is nothing in sight that shows that it is even going to be over soon. I mean, for goodness sake, you have one report telling us that Nigerians are going to be pushed deeper into hunger, and more people are hungry. They're hungrier in this. Food insecurity is getting worse. It's pure statistics showing that. Then you come up and say that these things problems are over. For goodness sake, what level of contradiction is that? What level of contradiction is that? And of course, what we are feeling in this country is not funny. And that's the problem. It just tells you the insensitivity of those in government. Our government officials and functionaries don't care. They are disconnected because there is cons in luxury. Being in government simply means being pampered on taxpayer. So how will you understand what people are going through? Just buying petrol alone for your car, what it costs, is unimaginable. It's unimaginable. Is it power supply? Energy cost. First of all, even if they supply the power, you don't have money enough to power your house. And then because they don't even provide the power, you have to look for alternative. You must look for alternative. And the alternatives are not cheap. If you want to go somewhere that can power everything in your house, it's expensive. If you want to buy petrol to run generators, to be able to provide what you need, power energy you need to all the things, it's expensive because you have to buy petrol, buy diesel, or whatever. And this man comes and tells us that, oh yeah, the problems are getting over. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. So what you should be doing is telling us how you are going to reverse this whole thing in practical terms. Not coming here and just saying wishful things, that it's like, are they spin doctors? That's what they are. Our ministers, our government spokespersons are spin doctors. Telling us things, and more like, we are being gaslighted as citizens. That's what it is.
Honestly, don't believe your eyes. Believe what I said.
Oh, man.
AB, it's actually interesting because the next story that we need to quickly jump into kind of ties into what the minister has been talking about, and this is coming out of the Vanguard, a report out of the Vanguard here. Now, the Kida Harmonies report on food and nutrition insecurity analysis said no fewer than 133.1 million Nigerians would face a global hunger crisis in 2025. Now, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, disclosed this in a statement yesterday, and I said the report was prepared by the federal government and supported by partners such as the World Food Program and the United Nations Children's Emergency Fund, UNICEF, among others. Now, this is quite a contradiction from what the minister was saying. If we have this number of people, and it said the report was done by the federal government in accordance with these agencies, so it didn't just come out of thin air. There was collaboration in making this report. AB,
I have said on the show before that in this government, it's as if what one hand is doing, the other doesn't know. While one person is saying it's over, the another person in the same government is saying more people are going to hunger and malnutrition. And they specifically pointed children and pregnant women. Do you understand the outcomes when pregnant women are not even getting food? It means that the children that already give already have one step down from their survival rates and their mental maturity rates. And this is the big hole that we are creating in this country. Yet somebody will get up and say the worst is over. Not is even ending. And even in that story that Joseph just talked about, they said government now has better sources of revenue. For goodness sake, I've said it. The problem is not strictly revenue. Revenue is one of them, but the choices that the government officials make to what they want to do with the revenue, it is never in the interest of Nigerians. Now you're hearing that 133 million may enter further poverty. I've always said, even on this show, that a report like that can be seen in two ways. One, that I even prefer it to be, is a warning. If you get advanced warning of a potential bad outcome, you have an opportunity in the present time to ameliorate or even prevent it. But when we see the actions and statements of government officials, it doesn't look as if they even read these reports or care about the potential of those reports to affect the people. They keep on living the lives they are living. We went ahead and bought a brand new presidential jet when we have about 6 or 7 other aircraft. We have one that's sitting right now in New York somewhere, going to be towed to Nigeria or replaced. We don't know yet. Let's wait and see. The thing is, I am not saying that Nigeria is in a good state, but there are indicators I would see from the actions of those in office that will give me suggestion that, okay, these people have a sense of what to do and they're on the right way. This is a very terrible story because children are not eating the way I ate as a child. And even I know when my parents were lowering the nutrition level, but they were trying. Now it's getting even more difficult for ordinary families to feed. 001 is now a luxury for many adults. Many adults will not eat so that their children will eat, and even their children are not getting enough food. And then somebody getting up and tell us that the worst is over. The worst is over maybe in your household, Mr. Wale Edun, but the worst is just beginning for 133.1 million Nigerians. Please, if you're in office, spare a thought for those 133.1 million. And don't remember your house is fueled, your car is fueled, you have power band a and a half, maybe 25 hours every day. The rest of us are not living like that. And it is not good enough to hear somebody making such a statement that has no correlation with the lived reality of the ordinary Nigerian. It is gaslighting. It is cruel. It is insensitive.
All right, thank you for sharing your thoughts there, AB. Let's take some messages because we need to round up on the show this morning. Time has flown by, as per the usual, when we're having great conversations. Michael says, it's looking like Nigeria is a safe haven for terrorism. I feel the government has been very lax with the handling of terrorism, handled them with extreme prejudice. He further says, concerning the grid, Nigeria does not have the technical competence to repair or even a proper solution for the collapsing grid. And he says, I say this with my full chest. Just like there's no technical competence to repair or fix the presidential planes. Let them buy a new grid and let's move on. After all, the current grid is outdated. Some of us Nigerians are not brain dead. Idimapuza says, I'm wondering the type of giant of Africa we're being referred to when we can't operate over 5,000 megawatts of electricity. Egypt and South Africa are operating over 60,000 and 40,000 megawatts respectively. Yet I've never heard of the electricity sector collapsing like a pack of cards like in Nigeria. Giant of Africa, indeed. This is, okay, there's no name attached to this one, but it says the number one terror group in Nigeria is the political class. I see what you did there.
Totally.
I think I concur.
Tony from Marine Beach says, it's heart-aching that despite outrageous government spending on the power sector, trips to Germany by top officials costing us a whole lot, what we get in return for such investments is darkness and blackness. To worsen matters, electricity has not only come with outrageous bills, but with a fraud issuing two bills to the same facility. One bill is band A and the other band B. Can human rights lawyers or SERAP look into this fraud and save struggling Nigerians? This actually, I've heard about two different bills being posted to the same household. I do not understand how that can happen. This is Dada from Ogbo says, on terrorists coming to the country from Niger, how did they come in? I thought the border was closed. The North is too accommodating on religious grounds. Anyone who carries holy books is viewed as a brother. The terrorist knows the situation in the country and they take advantage of it. Then how did we know that it was not one of the elders in the North who invited them? People get rich from insecurity in this nation. Sad story there. Let me take one more because we really got to go. This is Sunday from Surulere. Says the Minister of Finance should open a comedy show. Who knows? Maybe his ministry could generate enough revenue from it to lift Nigerians out of poverty. His statement is laughable. And Joseph Menye says it's really unfortunate when our government goes about with different propaganda whenever anything of national importance happens. Imagine the national grid consistently collapsing, affects businesses, homes suffer, darkness for criminals and enemies of state operate. Now we hear we should wait till 2027 for a minimum of 20 hours, but tied to infamous terms and conditions. What is the minister really saying? This kind of statements are not what we should be hearing. It's pathetic. All right. Thank you, Joseph. And thank you all for sharing your messages on Freshly Pressed this morning. And big thank you to AB and, of course, Joseph Obari. Great to have you as always. Hope you have a great Friday and a great weekend.
You too, Ayo.
Thank you
Everybody
so
else
much.
who's listening. Ayo.
God bless you all. Have a wonderful, fantastic Friday. Nonetheless, we'll make it worth our while.
Yes, indeed, we will. And thank you all once
Maybe
again for
you
sending
enjoy
in
your
your
time.
messages.
Enjoy your
Thank
time.
you, my brother.
All right.
It's a business trip.
Every
Do the
listener,
best.
everyone,
Bye
stay
now.
safe. Enjoy your weekend. Thanks so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy your weekend, as they say.
Without money.